The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building or buying or selling a home, the Real Estate Crew's got news for you at the Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V. Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome and thanks for joining us on the Real Estate House Party. It's so good to have everyone back.
Listen,
We got the A-team.
We got the
Listen,
A-team back.
Tony, the first time you were missing,
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
You thought he was big time in us.
you thought he was big time.
I did not say
No,
that.
I called you specifically to say I'm not big
Right.
time.
So
Yeah,
I-
it's pouring rain.
Yeah.
and you were out.
Oh, you're out golfing.
Golfing.
I
I was
saw.
So it kind of reminded me of
You thought that was a fake...
John Gavin when he said that he had to catch a flight.
I got to catch a flight. Yeah.
Not today. So
Well,
I'm
the
like,
people saw him at the same golf
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah. So and
did you have
then
to
I heard you were skeet shooting, or
Yeah, I went skeet shooting.
is that
last
when you
week.
hit the
clay
they-
pigeons?
Did you hit any?
Yeah. You know, I'm historically bad.
Well, it is an art to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't pick up a gun and do it, which is what we do. But this year, I shot really well.
Really?
All right, let me
Yeah.
ask you a strategy
Yeah.
then. Because it's almost impossible unless I always think there must be a strategy. So do you just aim for a spot and you know it's going to get there? Because you certainly can't pick it up.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's funny because
must
they all
aim-
come at you different ways.
Oh, right.
You know, it's not all
So you
the
go
same path. Right. But you see the guys who know what they're doing.
Yeah, so how do
the
they do it?
gun moves very little.
That's what I mean.
You know what I
Okay,
mean? So you
right.
see the trajectory,
Right,
and you
right.
get to a point. Some people do follow it, like our buddy Lenny Clark.
I can't imagine you and
He-
Lenny with guns in
Who's
your
Lenny
hands.
Clark?
Just had a birthday. Happy
I know,
birthday,
I saw
Lenny.
I wish
that.
him a happy birthday.
But he follows it right out. I mean, and as soon as it comes out of
He
the
was
shooting,
doing
boom.
He was doing immigrant jokes for his birthday. You know that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because they all showed up in Martha's Vineyard.
Well, I send him I'd send Lenny a text saying, "For your birthday, I got you your own immigrant. Go down to the church on Martha's Vineyard and pick out a nice one."
How about Rick DeSantis?
Do we have to issue a trigger warning?
well,
Oh yeah.
you know what? Can I tell you about warnings?
Yeah.
Sometimes if you say it afterwards, it doesn't
It
count.
doesn't count. All right.
Yeah, how about Rick DeSantis? He's probably
Yeah.
laughing his butt
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Why can't they be dropped off in Martha's Vineyard?
Well, I mean,
the
look.
heart of the greatest life ever, right?
Yeah, note he waited till after the season when all his friends were on Martha's Vineyard, all the really rich people. And let's not get political, but
Okay.
but they were saying that they sent him to Martha's Vineyard, and now it's a hurricane. Now it's a problem. It wasn't. They took care of it, and people seemed happy.
So Lenny was on some radio show, and I guess his ending was, "I gotta go. I gotta defend my house against a bunch of immigrants." So yeah, not that. That was Lenny Clark.
comedians,
Wasn't a-
Lenny, right.
comedians can say whatever
can
they
say that.
want.
You and I
we
can't
get
say
in
that.
trouble. We do get in trouble. People are being a little touchy these days.
touchy,
Yeah.
touchy. I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
You can't tell the same stories that you probably used to be able to tell, right?
No, because there's a lot of different groups, and they wait. People, as we know from this show, people wait to be offended.
Right.
It's no longer you offend them
I'm going to get offended somewhere today.
He's going to say something that I can
and
interpret
now
as
it's kind of like that that professional basketball player that's over in Russia.
Yeah,
What's her name?
Brittany Griner.
Yeah. She now they're saying that she's being discriminated against because she's black, she's a woman, and
We're not trying that hard to get her back.
we're not trying that hard. But she should have thought of that before she defamed our flag or did something. She
Yeah.
did something like refused to stand up for the national anthem or said something about something about America.
Yeah.
But and then she also brought illegal drugs to Russia.
Right.
So she did two bad things,
Right.
but now she's saying why can't America get me back?
Yeah.
She's not being discriminated against. She did two bad things.
No, but let me say this in response to that is America used to stand for we protect everybody. And
Right.
that part of being an American is you get to dissent. That's
Right.
the only thing that we have.
Right.
So you can't go, well, she didn't do this, so we can abandon her. She's still an American, and she was exercising her right.
Right.
Whether you like
her
it or not.
But the drug part wasn't her.
No,
right?
no. That seems like
so this is a good back and forth, because today at the office I said, if I stood up in a room of 100 people and I said what I just said,
right.
49 people would agree with me,
Right.
me included, and the other 50 would disagree with me.
Right.
And that's where America is
Yeah, we're
right
very
now.
divided, which is why you have to, like you see it. I see it in audiences all the time, and I stay away from controversial stuff like
But
that.
honestly, like somebody that can't handle an adult joke or something edgy or raunchy,
Well, that's
or
the thing is
don't
Well,
go
that-
to a comedy show.
Well, with the shows there, because we were talking about, my family was talking about, if you see the shows from like the 90s, I mean, The Office, you can't say some of that stuff. Blazing
Saddles.
Somebody, I was just talking about this with the boys in the back room. Somebody posted on Facebook. They go, "Well, we've re-edited Blazing Saddles to meet today's standards. Enjoy all 7 minutes of it."
Well, it's true. I mean, but it's sign of the times.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and
but
signs of sponsorship.
Right.
Yeah. You say words and people get offended.
Right.
I have a joke that I do currently with the word lesbian in it.
Okay.
And I have no problem with lesbians.
No.
It's a very good joke.
Yeah, it's a good joke. It has nothing to do with defaming or talking down or at lesbians. It's about my nitwit friends.
Should you tell the joke? Since
Why don't you?
Not the
Can
whole
you?
joke, but
Oh, okay.
no, it's about, me saying to my poker friends I was going to test drive a Subaru,
Oh.
and they go, "That's a lesbian car." And I go, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life." They go, "Oh, common knowledge, lesbian car." And I go, "Exclusively? Like, they're not going to let me in it? How does that work? What makes it a lesbian car? There's no gear shift." And so that has nothing to do.
Of course it doesn't.
Right, but you hear the word, and then now lesbians get upset.
Right.
You actually pulled out, that was one you had at Fenway
I
Park.
did that
You
at
pulled
Fenway
We
Park.
saw that
Yeah.
in private too,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
The blinker.
Yeah. Makes it go faster, sure.
So
Anyway, yeah.
Blazing Saddles,
Yeah.
you'd be down about 7 minutes.
Yeah, All in the Family.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Forget
You couldn't-
that. Yeah.
and we were talking about that. Archie Bunker and that was the butt of the jokes. He was
He
there.
was an ignorant racist.
Right. And that's what all the jokes were, to make him look foolish.
Right.
at-
Even
at
though
that
in
time.
real life he was
exactly the opposite.
opposite.
My
Yeah.
daughter
Right.
was telling me ER has plenty of derogatory words in there.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
You
yeah.
just can't hear anymore.
Yeah. But and I don't know. I mean, do you become politically correct to a point where you can't joke about anything?
That's what we're gearing toward.
Yeah, and are jokes the problem? I don't.
Yeah.
I hope not.
I don't think joke's the problem. I think it's the
Delivery, first of
no,
all.
not the delivery.
Well,
I
no,
think
'cause
it's
we were
the
at
re-
comics.
it's the reception.
Yes,
It's the brain that's
interpretation.
being receiving the joke.
Well, we went to Comics Come Home a couple
Oh,
years
you were
ago.
there at the
With Wanda
Sykes and Nikki.
That was probably
Yeah.
the worst
Yeah.
comics come home ever, right?
It was actually
Yeah.
Brawl starting.
yeah.
And then Nicky came on, and he was just as offensive the other way. But he kind of had a different approach. and
Right.
Kind of
People were getting up and leaving, right?
People were getting up and leaving. Yeah. We had some people in our group never came back.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was like a clients of ours that
Right.
were like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah,
we
yeah.
just
Yeah,
lost
yeah.
clients.
Yeah,
And,
that
and
happens.
it wasn't even Rick telling the joke.
No,
Never got business from
they're
them ever
just
again.
jokes.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
that's like if I make fun of, I was poking fun at the Queen when she passed, and people go,
Can you
it
just
means-
draw the line,
right,
Tony
no,
V?
Right. And I go,
Because
yeah,
I loved the Queen.
people do. You know what I mean?
Except she probably
you
did
asked
have.
Ryan Carter about the Queen.
She probably had Diana killed.
But plus, my whole thing with that is, good job being born.
You got a point.
You know what I mean?
And she raised corgis her whole life.
She loved dogs. That's all good. But I say to people who question that is me joking about it going to bring her back? Does it?
Right.
You know,
We should ask our Australian friend what she thinks of the Queen. Ooh. Oh.
Chrissy, that's
Wow.
you.
Yeah,
Chrissy, that's you.
I've never seen
Wow.
Chrissy.
Maybe we shouldn't ask
stump.
our Australian friend about the Queen.
No, yeah, I don't want to offend.
Oh, no, no, no,
I
okay.
don't.
No.
It's whatever. Australia's
What's
part of
that
the monarchy.
expression?
I was just gonna make jokes. Like I don't think much anymore.
What's-
She's dead. But then I'm
What's
like,
that
people are gonna
expression?
cry.
Silence is deafening.
Deafening.
Right.
Your silence
No, like
is deafening.
Australia's part of the monarchy still, but it's whatever. It's a placeholder. It's a
Yes,
like,
it is.
there are some Australians that are very patriotic to it, I'm sure. But for me personally, growing up, it's like, okay, yeah, she's over there. She lives there.
Yeah.
Right.
I cared the same amount about politics in general, so I'm not the person.
Right.
To be
Okay,
honest.
no. I didn't mean
You
to
know?
put you in the spot there.
No. I just didn't want to offend people. Like
No.
someone started telling a joke the other day, and he's like, "Oh, do you know which hand the Queen waves with?" Apparently, this is an old joke, and the punchline being, "No, neither. These are my hands." But I instantly went, "Well, none anymore. She's dead." And I'm like, "Oh Jesus, I don't want people to get." It's not. I'm not saying it's funny that she's dead.
Actually, no,
It's
right.
not. It's sad.
Yeah.
This is a joke.
But she was also 96.
She had a good run.
73 years she sat on the throne.
Yeah, she was married for 70-something years.
Yeah.
Good for her. GFY.
Look, I don't blame her. Like I said, nice job being born.
Yeah.
That's I stand by that.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
she didn't do any work.
No.
Right.
She just raised dogs
Yeah.
Wow.
and a
I
philanderer
feel like she
for
did
a
some
son.
work.
Wow, you're very opinionated today, Kathy.
She's like, I love the Queen. She never did any work.
No, I mean being born.
Yeah.
She didn't do work being born.
No.
None of us did.
No. We just
She made
ended
some
up there.
decisions as the Queen, though, right? Some good,
No,
some
they
bad.
don't really have anything to do with,
They're
with
just a-
politics. It's
no.
a figurehead, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. They get to like say yes and no and sign stuff, but they are very
Yeah, they get to
influenced
put
by.
hits
I'm
on-
saying watch the Queen, the
Yeah.
series. It's very
Yeah.
good. It's very good.
And they get to put hits on their wayward daughter-in-laws.
Yeah.
Wow. Is this
she's really going
something
in.
you want to talk about?
She's
You have some sort-
Princess Di was totally murdered.
Wow.
All right, QAnon.
But anyway, so you can research that on
Yeah,
your
I
own,
will.
Tony.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, so
So in real estate news,
the rates are climbing, the market's crashing. All right, we gotta go.
don't make fun of that.
None of us have a
That's
job.
the stuff you shouldn't make fun of.
There's no
Ain't
laughing
desperate.
on this
No,
show.
No.
No.
Well, I got an email from a buddy of mine who does mortgages, says he's going to be sitting around for the next 2 months. It's the slowest he's been since 2008.
Well, from all the loans that he sends us, I thought he was already sitting around.
Wow. What happened to you on the cruise?
Listen, there was a girl in my bike group. We did a tour through Mendenhall Glacier and the rainforest.
Oh, that's sweet.
Usually she's a little bit more
Yeah, no.
down.
she's-
No,
Right,
and so
come
I
on.
was like,
ahead.
I'd say something just to myself because we were biking single-handedly,
Right.
and then I'd say something else as we were walking, and I'd say something else. There's just stuff coming out of my mouth, right? So we get back to our little brew tour where we got to taste Alaskan beer, which I found one or two that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And we sat across from a couple that was in our group, and the husband says, "It's so funny because everything my wife was thinking was coming out of your mouth."
Yeah,
I said, "Listen, if you're 57, you should learn to be more assertive.
Assertive, right.
Just say what you want."
It's the only thing.
Rick's scared. I have never seen Rick so scared in my life.
All right. Is it all right to mute one of these mics up here? Or no?
Hey.
All right. Maybe we can do this. We can talk very briefly what's going on in the real estate
Yeah, let's hear
community.
it
And
because
then
I don't have a clue.
Maybe then, yeah, I know, because you've had a couple weeks off vacationing.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't get my joke last week. And I said,
I heard you
you've been
muttering.
you've been working 3 weeks, and you deserve a vacation.
She a well-deserved vacation after 3 weeks of work.
I think you worked a couple times after noon, a couple days there.
Oh, yeah, but no one laughed.
No.
Because they thought you were just making
man, he's
stuff
just
up.
Right. I should have said
And
no.
we
I'm
laugh
being very
and
serious. We
laugh.
laugh and laugh. Yeah. I mean, who would do that? What employer would keep an employee who just shows up every few weeks and
Works from home.
works
Late-
from home?
Late
Right.
for work with her coffee. And
Remember, we had one employee who'd only call in just to give her lunch order.
PM.
Yeah, PM.
She would
She'd
call
in around 11:50.
11:30.
Yeah.
She go, girls.
I'm running late.
She goes, what's for lunch?
She was serious.
And we're like, are you coming to work?
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
we'd be me and one of the employees who stayed late for one night, and we were very late. It was like 9 o'clock at night, and she was coming out of this little like facial place in our building.
Right.
And she's like this. What are you two still doing here? And we're just like, hold me back because I'm going to kill her.
As she just got her massage, at that spot
Yeah.
there. All right, let's talk briefly about the real estate market.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can talk more about cruises, and I have some tips and things like that for
you do?
cruises. I do.
Okay.
I do.
Let's hear it.
You want to? Well, let's talk quickly about real
Yeah,
estate.
so that we can
Then we can banter again.
justify.
Chrissy says, what are you guys going to be talking about? I said,
nothing.
Yeah.
we haven't seen
haven't
Tony
been
and Kathy
together
for
in
a
a
while,
while.
so,
Right, so Tony-
I have a feeling we're going to be bantering.
So Tony needs a little tiny nap while you go through the real estate.
Go ahead.
No,
No,
that'd be
I
quickly.
know the interest rates are going up.
Right. All right.
The Fed's going to do it
here's
again.
one suggestion I have for brokers. They can't keep treating the environment like it was a year ago. They're a little laissez-faire. And I'm going to give you an example.
I want to hear it.
So I called a broker because I was trying to help some potential buyers out.
Right.
They just want to know about a house. They figured I could get some information. Maybe we could all look at the house
Do
together.
they ask you to do the home inspection too?
I call the broker, and she goes, well, and I guess my point is, it's not like a year ago. You should probably be catering to potential buyers.
Of course, because you're not going to get 10 of them.
You're not going to get 10 offers anymore. You might get 2. So if I was
You might get one.
Right.
Under price.
So she goes, well, do you want to see the house? I go, well, it'd be nice if you $1.25
Sure.
million house. I think the
take
buyers
a look at it. Sure.
buyers want to take a
you know
peek.
what? I'm just going to buy it.
Right. So
Sight
I said,
unseen.
yeah, I'd like to see it. I'd like to bring, the buyers. And they said, well, she goes, well, what time do they want to come by? I said, well, maybe after work, like 6 o'clock. Nope, can't do it.
Can't do it.
I said, well, okay. When can you do it? 2:15 to 2:45 is the time you can see it.
In the middle of the day.
In the middle of the
when
day.
When people are working.
When people are working.
Oh, and honestly, they are booked. They are booked from 2 to 6 or 2 to 7 at night.
Well, I guess, the wife wanted to come home. She had to pick up her kids. She didn't want to interfere with the kids' schedule during the day.
Listen, when I was selling my house, I was driving around the block
that's-
for an hour and a half
That's-
with my dogs.
That's my point, because that buyer might be the one that buys
the
your house.
Sure.
Yeah, it was just, she goes, well, I said, well, they can't come. She goes, well, you want to come in 2:15? I guess so. I'm not the one buying it, but I'll come by and tell them. And
What you think.
Yeah, and they said, and the broker says, I can't be there to accompany you at all. I go, all right, I guess. So
Who was going to accompany you?
I went by myself.
You went into the house?
Yeah.
Do they still live there?
They still live there.
That is.
I know.
That is not okay.
That's just
weird.
doesn't seem right.
Was
yeah.
it because of you?
Take anything?
Does he or she know you?
Well, she probably knew I was an attorney, probably had heard of me that I'm not going to be taking things.
Yeah, but who knows? What if there's $100 on their buffet?
I mean, there was till I got there.
Dude, can I,
See, they were
you
setting
didn't-
a trap.
You didn't give it to me.
I told you, lawyers are no good.
No, I hardly took anything out of the place. A couple Diet Cokes out of the
That
fridge.
is unbelievable.
Yeah, it was just kind of weird. She goes, you can go in there. There's a lockbox. Here's the code. I go, all right. It was just, and there was no lockbox. I didn't see it. I just walked in the back door, just out of Roma. So here's another couple points. Not that, if you're a seller, you want to make sure, I guess it's obvious, you want to make sure electronics and stuff like that's put away. But you also want to make sure, your mails, I mean, if you're getting some mail from some IRS, you just don't want all this, or,
Your personal information.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it should be in showing condition at all. Once you put your house on the market, it should be in, showing condition at all times.
Right. It was just, so I guess my point is, I think she was kind of expecting it to be like a year ago where you could get away with that because you're going to have 100 people looking at it. And if I don't,
someone's going to take it. Yeah.
Right. And someone's going to take it. So if I don't go, so there's 99 people seeing it. But I just think brokers' expectations might have to be a little bit now.
Right.
And I think they got to.
Wait, you mean they might have to work?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's the rub right there. They're not
I didn't want to say it.
They're
but
not just jumping off the
Thanks,
shelf
Tony.
themselves.
That was the softball
Exactly.
that Tony needed.
Say, wait a second, I didn't sign up for this job to work.
And I think they got to manage their clients' expectations. They got to
Without a doubt.
They got to tell
Without
the
a doubt.
sellers, you're not going to have 100 people going.
And the
through
house
it.
sitting on the market that was priced at like say 600,000, like 3 months
might
ago,
be 550
Right.
now.
you need to set up your seller's expectation that
Exactly.
was different than it was
Right.
earlier this
Well, my
summer.
neighbor got 650. He
Well,
got-
that's what they're going on stuff that was sold in the
Exactly.
spring,
Right.
and they
Exactly.
go, "Yeah, my friend sold their
Right,
house,
right,
but then
right,
they had,
right.
But
10
we've
offers
gone up
over."
and we're like tipping right over
right,
the edge right
right.
here.
I had one broker tell me she got her house and the client sold. She says if it was 3 weeks later, it would have been $50,000 less.
But yeah, but
It's a timing thing.
But is this also the case that some of these people got into the real estate game when it was really hot,
Yep.
and that like everything else, when it
Yes.
falls off, they'll stop, and then trusted and longtime brokers will know how to do this.
Without
well,
a doubt.
that's what I'm saying. I'm
Right.
hoping they realize times
I'm
now
sure like
to be doing
some of
that.
our top brokers know
Right, right.
exactly,
exactly how to
what's
handle
going on.
because they've been through this three or
Right,
four
right, right.
times.
Right.
So now they know they have to do a little bit extra.
Right.
They
yeah.
do have to stage the house. They do
Yeah.
have to make sure that
We should give a shout out to Doug Walters.
let's
Because seriously, a guy like that is someone you need now. You need to stage it. You're right. You need to stage it. You need to
need
have
to make
professional
sure that-
photography.
the
Doug Walters
photography.
photography. So I guess that's one thing we got to manage.
But
their
we've watched Doug Walters grow from like a real estate agent, right?
Yeah,
We've
yeah,
known
yeah.
him for a lot of years now.
Oh yeah.
And he just keeps adding another
Oh,
layer
yeah.
to his
Right.
his professional
I like his persona now too.
repertoire. Oh, and also he's gotten so much confidence
Oh, yeah.
in his ability
Yeah.
that he's just on fire.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. We're gonna have him on. All right. So that's for the brokers.
Brokers.
All right. Buyers might be a time to jump in there.
Yep.
You know.
Yep,
Now,
get
why
your
is it a good time for buyers?
Because there aren't as many flooding the
Oh, so the market's not oversaturated.
Right. So
Yeah.
they might not have that auction effect as much.
right.
I mean,
they
last
might be
year,
able to put a $20,000 under asking offer, and the
Right.
seller's going to grab it.
right. And related to that, that's a good point. You need to deal as a buyer. You got to make sure you deal with a broker because they might
Without
say,
a doubt.
They might say, well, it's still not. I wouldn't put in a $20,000 under. But we might be able to do what they're asking for now, as opposed to $100,000 over.
Right.
You know, because some buyers were still in that residual effect. And some brokers told me this: there was only 3 offers put in, 2 was right around the asking price, and one put in one with an extra $60,000 on it because they were still used to losing out and had to overbid.
Well, right. They had been
Right.
They'd lost out several
on
times,
the
and
other
the buyers become desperate.
Right. They
Right.
want a house.
Right.
So those buyers definitely need to deal with a broker now.
But the problem with putting that $60,000 over asking, you better have that in the bank.
Right.
Because the appraisals are going to catch up to the value. The appraisals are very accurate. And if the house sold for, was being listed at $550 and you asked for you paid $590, the appraisal is very well going to come in around $550.
Right.
So now you're on the hook
No, that's
for
a good point.
extra $1,000, and you're not going to be able to get a loan on it unless you get PMI or something like
Right,
that.
right.
So
another good point. They gotta start consulting a little bit more with their mortgage originator.
yeah, and you get update your pre-approval letters, guys,
I had a guy.
because the rates are different now.
Now,
Right.
what do all these swings have to do with? Is it directly related to the interest rates
rates.
going
Yeah,
up?
yeah.
Does it have anything to do with political atmosphere?
Well, yeah, maybe, but
little bit?
Well,
not to
interest
really
rates
to a
are
buyer,
up
right?
because of-
The
Because
interest
of all that.
right? So
Right.
it's different. It's not. It doesn't have anything to do with buyers and their political
Right.
and this and that. But
But
also
the rates are up a little bit because of what's going on in the
Right, in
world.
the world.
Not just the United
it's not
States.
directly affecting a buyer. Well, it is, but because you know what happens when the interest rates go up, their buying power
Goes down.
is
Yeah, I see.
decreased.
Right.
They can't afford as much of a home as they could.
Plus, buyers have to manage their expectation. I had a guy today who might be pulling out. He was purchasing a piece of property and then goes to his originator and, everyone got these rates of 2.5%, 3%.
Now they're over 5%,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
so
on
that's
a $700,000 loan, that
that's
could be
a
an
lot of
extra
money.
$700. So he goes to his lender today to get pre-approved, and he told him his new mortgage amount. He goes, what? So now he might be backing out. So I guess a buyer's broker has to manage expectations for a buyer as well.
Right.
Say, listen, your
not 6
earning
months
power.
ago.
I mean, your
Right.
buying
Your
power,
buying
is,
power
is
is
not quite where it
diminished.
was. So
Right.
this guy's going to back out, and it's only a few $100s. I was worried about that because a lot of people have rates in the 2s. Are they going to be selling, to buy something?
So and,
And
if
then they
got,
have to get a higher rate
right,
too,
exactly,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Well, so and a lot of sellers now, even though they could get a lot of money or could have or
Yeah.
still kind of get a ton of money for their house, but then what happens? They have to go buy a house
Well, listen, this
with
is
a higher interest rate.
This is what I run into with my house
Right.
in Charlestown.
Right.
I'm always threatening to,
Pull the
leave,
plug.
and my wife goes,
Where
"Where are we
gonna
going to
go?"
live?
Right.
I know.
We're going to have to buy something here because we
Right.
like living here, and it's going to be,
Right.
You can. This is the time that you're going to get that. What are they called? Yurts.
I'd live in a yurt tomorrow.
I know. You always said that.
Yeah.
So
Would you
I'm
live
a very simple man.
I don't
Would you
think
live
your
in a
wife would be
lighthouse?
No,
happy.
she wouldn't be. I'd
No.
live in a lighthouse.
Those things are so cool.
I got a buddy who owns a lighthouse.
I know. We got to talk about that again.
Yeah.
We had that
We
on
can
our
do.
radio show
Didn't
way back.
Judy have dinner with Roy in the top of a lighthouse? Was it Newburyport? Or?
Yeah, I know I've auctioned that off a couple of times.
Okay.
Like a romantic dinner
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
top of a lighthouse.
yeah.
You auctioned it off?
Yeah, for charity.
Oh, I was going to say,
Not
because
me.
you don't own it.
No,
That's
no.
a pretty good scam.
That'd
Yeah.
be great. Yeah, just go out to the lighthouse. Just go out to the lighthouse. Tell
mean, who
Tony
would
sent you.
really know?
Right.
Tony who?
Tony.
I mean, is anyone really
Yeah.
monitoring that?
Old friend of mine, Dave Waller, owns Graves Light, which is one of the other.
How much does a lighthouse go for?
He got it. I mean, he's had it for years now, but he's been. I don't know what the. He's put stairs in, and it's got a.
He must have a lease on the land.
No, he bought it. I think he's got a partner, and they bought it straight out. I think eventually
This is
they're
a
trying to
pretty
make
cool
it
idea.
into a B&B.
Yeah.
But so he actually owns the
lighthouse.
land.
Yeah, they were getting rid of them because they're obsolete.
Well, right.
They don't need them anymore with GPS and whatnot. So I think he got it for
Is
like
it
$100
in the
grand.
ocean or is it on the edge of the ocean?
Oh no, it's in the middle of the ocean.
So
it's on
that's
an
why-
outcropping of rocks.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
cool.
You got to
that,
take a boat to it.
Have you been there?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
not
why
in a
I don't
couple
think
years.
he owns it because the shoreline out is typically.
Yeah, but the government owned it. The
There is a possibility you could own it.
Okay.
Yeah. And well, here's what I know. I don't know how this ended, but I know they were in a dispute over taxes. I think Duxbury wanted it, and then somebody else who's,
Oh, yeah.
Down
point
there,
closest to it or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
because it's not 3 miles out, which would make it international.
Right.
But so I don't know how that played out, but I know people were going after him for taxes, and then, his counterpoint was, no, it's not taxable because it's this or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We
So
can have
because-
Dave on someday and talk
Let's
about
do
it.
that.
Yeah.
Can you call him?
I'll call him.
Because I want to know if he owns it. I want to
All right.
see his deed.
Yeah, all right.
When are we going to get him on then?
I don't know. I didn't call him yet.
We want
No,
to
we're trying to
we
get a
want
poker game out there. That's a,
that's a good
our
idea.
thing. And we've been talking about this for a few years now. We want to get a bunch of us and go out and have a poker game out at the local.
Oh, no, because that'd be a great, talk about a
lighthouse.
great corporate thing.
Yeah.
To bring 5 or 6 employees
Yeah.
from your work to
Yeah.
go out to the lighthouse.
Yeah.
And make sure that anyone that invites you likes you, because couldn't they
You're
just...
not going anywhere.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
could you
Right.
go out the window or something?
Of course you could.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's a lighthouse.
you gotta keep an eye on.
Yeah.
You
That
gotta
gets
see
back to
something,
us.
say something, guys.
It's also one of those things where at low tide, there's rocks and like an
Yeah.
outcropping and stuff. But at high tide,
You're
it's
surrounded
just
by
a lighthouse.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
know,
cool.
yeah.
Now there's beds in there and everything.
Yeah,
right?
they got a kitchen and.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's fully functional. He put stairs in because you used to have to climb up a ladder.
So how's the plumbing and the electricity go?
I have no idea.
All right, that's why we need to get him on
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I have many questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You know, I'm an overthinker.
Yeah. I'll talk to him. See if we'll come
Evidently an over talker too today. You have had a lot of opinions today.
up.
No, I don't mean that in a bad way.
She was up in the free spirit land of
Alaska, where they don't
Now
seem to-
They don't care about
They
anything.
don't
I thought it
see-
was my turn anyway.
They don't care one way or the
Whatever
other.
happened to our rule? You had to raise your hand when you
I'm
started
sorry,
dominating.
I forget everything.
She needs another vacation.
I know. I'm exhausted.
It
I
has been 3 weeks.
have. No, it hasn't.
Oh,
One
so
day.
your counselor is the guy who works 3 hours a week on a good week, right?
She's been sitting up this whole time. How much do you want from the woman?
Thanks, Tony. I appreciate you having
I'm
my
on your
back.
side.
You both are union stewards for each other here.
Right.
This is not going to work out. Seems like we're going to run out of time. I'm not sure.
No.
Not sure if I have the tips. We're going to be able to put the tips on for
Run
the
'em-
cruise. Maybe
run
we'll.
'em
Let's
through.
do it. 10 minutes.
Want to do it real quick?
We got
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Oh my
yeah.
God, Chrissy's
I'm
saying.
not out of words.
All right, we'll be real quick. I'll just come to the conclusions because these are all based on different lawsuits. Look at, I've actually check and make sure you're not being videotaped when you're in your room. Lawsuit happened.
Unless you want to,
Unless you don't care.
right? Unless that's
Unless
how
you
you
wanna-
lured someone there.
I like this one. Do not drink on the cruise.
Really? Well, can I give you guys a tip?
Drink anything? Like don't hydrate? What?
So one time we were going to get a drink at the bar. One time.
One time.
And there's this table of crazy wild people, older people, because
Yeah.
it was an older crowd.
Yeah,
like
they
our
all are,
age.
by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
And some drunk lady yells, "Can we get a wheelchair over here?" And I looked at the bartender. I'm like, "What do they need a wheelchair for?" Because they have had 8 rounds of shots.
Oh.
I go, I didn't know that was an option, that I could just order up a wheelchair.
Yeah, why wouldn't you do that?
It was hysterical.
Yeah.
And then I was telling other people about it. They're like, yeah, Jared
That's great.
needed a wheelchair
Sure, 'cause
last night.
It was legless.
Can I tell you my wheelchair story?
Yeah.
So we're
No,
going,
no.
We're going to Florida.
Oh, my God.
We're going to Florida. The plane gets delayed about 7 hours. So it just really starts with just me and my family there.
Right.
It's delayed. So it's me, wife, and 3 kids. My son, again, no one's there.
Rambunctious little brat.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan.
Wow. So anyway, he sits in the wheelchair.
Right.
We're just waiting. There's no one in there.
Right.
We're waiting 6, but now each hour more and more people come in.
Sure.
And Ryan's getting really,
Antsy.
fidgety.
Yeah.
He's a little kid there. So now he's just kind of rolling around.
Was he
the-
17 or 18?
That's another story. I'll say that one.
Okay.
But anyway, he's just, now he's just rocking on the wheelchair. Now there's 200 people in there. Don't you know he falls off the wheelchair? All 200 people come running over to him.
Like the poor kid.
The poor kid. So,
and Christine marches up and get off the floor, Ryan.
and everyone's looking at her like,
What a mean
why are you
mother."
yelling at the poor kid?
He needs a wheelchair.
Oh,
Give him
boy.
grief.
All right.
All right, that's a good one.
See if the cruise line actually changes their sheets. Stories about that. I like this one. Make sure there's no, the floor has no skid flooring if you're going to play cornhole. Again, these are based on either lawsuits or complaints to the cruise line.
You know what I'm complaining about is I couldn't find the cannonball contest.
They must
So,
have wanted to
They
put
wanted
you
to throw me
away
off.
right away.
So I went walking by and there was two staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all foreign. Like they're all from different
Yeah.
countries and they all speak very little English. And I walked by, excuse me, sir, do you know where the cannonball contest is? And he's like, cannonball? Because they're supposed to be very helpful.
Sure, they're supposed
So
to know
he's-
everything.
and I stumped him, and he goes, and we're standing right by the pool, right? So that would be the
Right.
logical place.
You would think, sure.
So
They're
I-
not going to just go off the 3rd deck into the ocean.
So he goes, cannonball contest?
The
And the
poor
kid
guy.
next to him was hysterical laughing. I go, I'm only kidding you. And he's like, oh, you.
I tell you, the last cruise we went on, years ago, and
They docked at an unexpected port and
let a
asked
few
the
people off.
Carters from Reading to
well, you can
get
see
off.
we all must have ADD. It was like 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I'm walking around the cruise. Now there's 3,000 people
Sure.
on the
It's a
cruise.
little city.
I'm walking around. I bumped into, and I'm not making this up. So I'm walking
Audrey, right?
all around the cruise.
Yeah.
And
It's huge.
Yeah, I bumped into 10 people. 6 of them were from my family. They couldn't sleep.
They
either.
couldn't sleep.
What are the chances of that?
You guys should have been hanging out together.
Should have.
Yeah,
a support group.
I know. I like this one. Make sure you're getting along with your family members, because I guess that was if you jump from the boat. Oh, this is back to the you shouldn't drink. I guess someone I can't understand the facts on this. Someone was on the 9th floor. You were on a cruise. Some and only made it to the 5th floor. I guess that's
because they're layered. You could if I looked out at my balcony, I couldn't see. I could see some they'd be
Okay.
14, 13, 12, and then there was like a roof.
So this guy jumped out of the 9th floor, wondered why he only hit the 5th floor.
And
I
not
guess
the water?
Right, exactly.
He's probably lucky he hit the 9th floor.
Why was he jumping into
I know,
off the
I know.
9th floor?
Again, back to the original
Was he
point. Do not
jumping?
drink.
Was he jumping?
Yeah, he thought he was jumping in.
No,
I think
was he jumping, or did somebody help him jump?
that we'll get to that one. But
Okay.
he thought he was jumping and was going to be able to hit the water. All right. If you jump from the boat, don't expect the cruise lines to look for you.
No, they keep going.
No, of course not.
Yeah, they don't want to throw everything.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's what I always think. Do not go on the cruise if you're prone to psychosomatic illnesses. I've heard of this before, where a couple people on a plane think there's some disease on the plane, and it just runs rampant throughout the plane.
It
I
does.
see,
Yeah, because
It does. He's accurate.
Right, this comes under the heading of leave you crazy at home.
right, exactly.
If you're able.
If you can, yes.
I like this one. Make sure the boat is not in debt. I guess one company pulled into some shore and the boat was on deck. They took over the boat. No one was able to leave.
Wow.
I don't want to mention anyone on the do not bring drugs onto the ship.
Yeah, I did it.
Man, you're really selling this cruise thing, Rick.
Get along with your tour guides. All right. I like this one. Why is the remedy to give them an extra day on the cruise line? You know what I mean? Oh, we've had a horrible experience. Oh, because of that, we're going to give you a free night.
It's like Spirit Airlines. They cancel
Right.
the flight like
Right.
a half hour before the flight with no other flights leaving that
Yeah.
airport. And then they say, we're going to pay for your lunch. Why? I'm leaving the airport.
Right,
I'm
right,
not
right.
waiting for
I'm
another
not coming
flight.
back here to
and
go
then
to
they give you
dinner.
a $50 voucher
Right.
towards the next flight.
Here's one complaint.
I wasn't finished talking.
Well, someone is staring at us right now to say, wrap this thing up.
Come on, one more.
One more. Make sure if you're having a heart attack, the cruise line will let you off the boat. It was a lawsuit or something. So
Sure.
All right, we went way over.
These things make it seem like society are a bunch of morons.
All right,
yeah,
well,
have you been
did we
paying
start?
attention?
Yeah,
Did we
I was
start,
gonna say, where are you
did we
at?
start today's
Right.
show with this?
Right.
Well,
That's
I
not
think we
news.
got
I'm
a
offended. You know what, guys? I'm so offended by that list.
There's somewhere in there
I
that
hope
someone's
I have.
offended by that.
Is there somebody at HR I can talk to?
Yeah,
I would add, make sure the comedian on the boat's not a hack.
You're right.
Yeah, that's true. Because if you're stuck in there with a hat,
Yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Good boy.
A lot of people we
All
know
right.
have been doing
Yes.
the cruise line. We won't mention any names.
No.
But,
Who?
well, I just said we won't mention
No
anyone's
names.
names.
So when you say
we
that,
have- no,
it
we
makes me
have a-
ask.
No, I can't mention them.
You know a lot of people who do them. So.
Yeah. So right. So
Any
we
of
go-
my favorites?
Yeah.
yeah. You
People
know
who've
them
been
too.
on this show.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Never back again.
No, they're on a ship.
They never came back.
Well, we never invited them back on the show.
Oh.
Yeah. I said some. Yeah. That's all right.
Hacks. Are you not keeping
Because they're
up with
hacks.
the
They're
conversation?
hacks. Thanks
No
for joining.
offense.
Well, we were just having
Don't
some
be
bond,
offended.
some bonding.
Trigger warning. Jesus.
Some bonding.
Chrissy said, "Who are
moments,
you bringing on
Chrissy."
as guest today?" I go, "There's no
Nobody.
need for
Yeah.
guests today. We're lucky." Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for
What's
joining
your
us here. I hope we had a lot of real estate information.
I hope we
Yeah.
didn't trigger too many
That was a
people.
lot.
We
That
got a
was
lot. Thanks for
That
joining
was
us here on the
lot.
Real Estate House Party. It's so good to have my compatriots back. Kathy Holtshouser,
Hey.
our paralegal extraordinaire. Tony V, the funniest guy in the world, right
Yes.
here. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.